Stephanie and Peter back with Outdoor Dog today to give you guys another fitness video. Today we'll be talking about warm-ups and cool-downs for your dog. The elements that I include in fitness with my dog are a warm-up, the fitness exercises that we've planned, and a cool-down. That warm-up and that cool-down is so important for your dogs. Do you do a warm-up and cool-down already? What do you guys do? Let me know in the comments below. I definitely recommend doing a warm-up and cool-down, not just when you're planning to do a fitness routine with your dogs, but also during those outdoor outings that you guys are having, whether it's going for a difficult hike or kayaking or boating with your dogs. I still give Peter a warm-up and cool-down. For example, with kayaking, Peter's going to have to use his muscles in a variety of different ways to stabilize himself on the kayak when we're out on the lake or wherever we happen to be. So I take time when I get to the lake to give him a good warm-up, and then when we get back to shore, I give him a good cool down just to make sure that I'm preventing any injuries from happening. For warm-ups, there's a couple different benefits to this. It really allows your dog's heart rate to increase, and that in turn helps increase the blood flow to your dog's muscles, which they'll be using soon after the warm-up. So that's really good stuff, right? It also improves flexibility, reduces the risk of injury, and also reduces the risk of soreness, which is, again, super important. The other thing that I like about warm-ups is that it mentally prepares you and your dog for exercise or for that activity, which is really great, right? It gets you in the zone. There are tons of different types of warm-ups that you can do. I personally always include a walk that is at least 10 minutes long. I don't want my dog just going out of the car and running, right? I want a nice, slow, gradual walk to get their heart rate up a little bit. After I do the walk, I like to include a little bit of dynamic stretching. So dynamic stretching is different than what we often think about for stretching for our dogs or even ourselves. For dynamic stretching, it's a movement-based stretch. So you'll get into the stretch position and come right back out of it. This is really good for your dogs for this warm-up time. Some really great warm-up stretches for dynamic stretches that I do with Peter is a spin. I'll have him spin in a clockwise circle or a counterclockwise circle. For Peter, he knows a cue for this, but you can also just take a cookie and lure your dog through the motions. This just helps stretch his spine, his side, and other parts of his body. You can also do figure eights, again, by luring the dog with a cookie into a figure eight pattern. This has very similar benefits to spinning in a circle. Or what Peter and I like to do is have him weave between my legs, because that's really fun. Another type of dynamic stretch that I do with Peter is what I call quick bows. So a lot of us teach our dog to do a play bow as a trick. Generally, we want them to hold that position for a period of time. However, for a dynamic stretch, right, we want them in that position and out of it really quickly. So we'll do a lot of quick bows to get that same stretch, but in a dynamic way. After we've done our fitness exercises or our just outdoor outing, then we'll do the cool down. The cool down has a lot of benefits as well. Basically, it's bringing the dog's heart rate back down to the resting rate, bringing their body temperature down, and then also bringing down their breathing rate. It's basically preparing the body from going from an exercise state to a resting state. This will really prevent some soreness in your dog, but it also has some other benefits as well. One of the ones that I love is that it can be a really good indication of whether or not your dog is injured. For example, Peter and I were at an agility competition early last year. We always do a warm-up, we go run our agility course, and then we immediately go into a cool down. It's a very routine for Peter. He knows what to expect. We've done it a million times. So I went out to do the cool down with him, and he was hesitating on a lot of the things that I typically do for him, which was completely abnormal. And his movement was not the same. There was just something off about it. And it turns out he did end up having an injury. So that gave me a really good indication right off the bat that there's something up with my dog. So those cool downs are really great, as is warm-ups really, to give you the opportunity to watch your dog and get into this routine. And if something's off, it might mean that your dog has an injury. There are, of course, different types of cool downs that you can do with your dog. Again, I always love that at least 10-minute walk. And then I move into some static stretches. Static stretches are where you want the dog to hold the stretch a little bit longer than those dynamic stretches that we did earlier. So depending on my dog's comfort level, I might start out asking them to hold that stretch for 5 seconds and then build to about 10 or 15 seconds of a stretch. Some of the great stretches that I like to include in my cool down routine are a bow. Again, this time we're going to ask our dog to hold the position a little bit longer. So we'll build a little bit more duration in the bow. I also like to do a spine stretch where my dog puts his front feet up on a low object, where his back is really nice and straight and he's reaching forward to eat a cookie. Again, the big key here is that your dog's spine is in a really nice straight position and there's not a dip or an arch in it, because then that can cause some injury. So we want to be careful there. I also like to include some cookie stretches where I put a treat right on my dog's nose and lower his head to the side. I might lower his head just a little bit to the side and then start lowering him to his shoulder, his elbow, his feet, his knee, his hip. And that really creates this really nice stretch throughout his body in different ways. So cookie stretches are another great one. Again, with anything in fitness, you'll want to do both sides, right? You want your dog to be even. So if you do the cookie stretches on the right side, you'll want to switch to the left side and do that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, we do have some more fitness videos planned in the future. We also have some training videos planned for the outdoors, so stay tuned for that. You can click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified when those come out. As always, thank you so much for your support to this channel. I truly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day full of adventure.